Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's episode is the MU Metal Model Transformers Decepticon TARN partial build. As with all the other metal models, it was very challenging, had a lot of steps, had some pieces that were a little difficult, but the end product turned out to be great, looked amazing, just like all the other pieces. But I hope you can get through all the episodes and I hope you enjoy them. And as always, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment so I can get more content out to you. Welcome back everybody. We're continuing our next step on TARN metal model transformer. If you remember our last episode, we just finished the foot, which is sitting right over here in the corner. Now we're just trying to work our way up, completing the leg. And as you can see, I've kind of changed the camera position. I watched the last couple videos and really didn't like where it was positioned. You really couldn't see everything I was doing. My hand was kind of getting in the way. So I'm trying a different spot just so test out if this works a little better, just so you can kind of see everything that's going on. So with that, we're going to continue on. So as you see, I've already cut out all the pieces for next couple steps, and we'll see if we can get all this done in this episode. So first thing is we're going to take this piece, we need to bend it to the front. So it shows we need to use the back piece and bend it down a little bit. Because you can see the two holes up top and this hole right here we're going to be putting on with the three. Oops, get the light off. You're going to put in 3 pegs right there, so you got to work at seeing exactly what you need to do or how much you need to bend it. And as I said before, start small and then work your way to what you need, which it looks like you need to bend it a little bit more. There we go. Whew. Got that one in there. It almost looks like it's gonna not fit, but then once you do that, then you line up the other pieces. Just looks like they're both in there, and you just push them up and lock them in. So those pieces are in. So as before, you can use your fingernails to push the tabs in. Go ahead and close those in. And to take attention to what you're grabbing onto, just to make sure you're not bending anything else. And of course, since this tab down here is too much of a tight spot for me to get my finger in, and that's where you just use a screwdriver. Kind of go a long ways. And not too worried about scratching stuff inside here, because this is the back piece, and you're really not going to see any scratches that are going to happen, but you just kind of push down on it, and you're good to go. So now, looks like we bend this up a little bit, and then we're going to fold these sides in, connecting this tab into this slot right here. So I'm going to use some pliers, bend it forward, just to kind of see what I need to do. And if you need to bend the tabs a little forward to get it to line up, there's nothing wrong with that. And then once you get it in the slot, it'll straighten out. It just kind of helps it so you don't have to, bend it the opposite way, or just put this other one in over here, and that one's in. Yeah, sometimes some people may bend these the opposite way just to hide them, just so you don't see it too much, but I don't think you're really going to see it too much. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll color coat the one side of the tab the same color of the piece that it's going on, so you're really not going to see the tab too much. And again, just pushing down with the fingernail. And going over here, pushing down with the other. Careful not to bend anything. And I know you've been kind of seeing me rub on the pieces with the gloves. That's kind of a helpful thing too, is if you see some smudge or just something on the pieces with the gloves on, it's just easy to kind of just wipe the piece. It kind of makes it, kind of cleans it a little bit. So there's that front piece that we got on there. Okay, so now next piece is this one right here. So it looks like we're gonna use the back, and we're gonna bend this up a little bit. It's gonna fit into this piece right here. Again, you're just trying to line up the pieces. It's not enough. And that's what I was talking about before. Just you bend it a little bit and then work your way to the angle that you need. If you bend it too far, then you run a chance of accidentally going too far and then trying to bend it back, and then it'll just break right off. So you definitely do not want that to go on. Okay, gotta go a little bit more. And with anything, with these models, you definitely want to take your time with it. There's definitely no rush to get these done. So, oh, there's one, got that one in. And that's how you kind of know if you bend it correctly, is if you got the angle for the tabs to go in. And it looks like I may have actually gone a little bit too much with the angle, so I'm gonna bend it down. It was just I needed to get it at the angle to get the tabs in. But again, as I said, they make these sturdy enough where you can bend it back and forth at least probably 3 or 4 times before it breaks. And I'm using the screwdriver to bend the tabs down. And trust me, I've done this enough that, I'm making it look kind of easy to just bend these down with the screwdriver, but my first few times doing it, it was anything but easy. Okay. So we got that piece on. Okay. So now we're gonna work with this. Now we're gonna fold this into a shape. Let's see here. So I'm gonna use the pliers to kind of bend it. And it looks like the tabs. These tabs are going to go into these slots. It's usually safer to bend the tab side first, and then have this slider on top of it, which looks like I went too far again. Not by much though. So it slides right on there. Slides right on there. And before, since there's holes right here, then you can always use the pliers to kind of tighten them down. And then it also wants you to bend this down to kind of line it up with the bottom. And now, let's see here, like that. Okay, and then it wants me to use this. 11. Let's just stop looking at the book and just seeing what's going on. Because again, lining up some tabs with some holes. So, and well, sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. I got lucky on that time to get all the holes lined up perfectly. And trust me, that hardly ever happens. Just verifying that it was pushed down right, making sure the angle's still good. Okay. Now, wanting to bend this up a little bit. And wanting to bend this. Sometimes if you only grab in the middle, it may not bend the sides. Usually, I always like getting a long pliers, and that way you're bending the whole thing. If you're bending a long piece, just to make sure that it's all level. Because if you try to bend one side and then the other side won't bend, and then it kind of curves and isn't completely straight. So, because you're trying to get it to line up with that piece, which looks like I bent it a little bit too far, but looks like that's the theme of this episode, is bending too far, and I'm telling you not to. But as long as you don't go too far, you're okay. So, and I could have, put these pieces in first and then bent this to line it up, because you're trying to line it up with this top edge right here. So it's just better to grab the middle, bend it back a little bit, and there we go. Lined up. Just a habit, always just wipe it down a little bit. Always see something on it. Okay, so we got that, and now this is going down. Top of here. And like I said before, you always want to make sure all of the tabs see, that one popped out. There we go. You always want to make sure that all of the tabs are in before you bend them. See, that one's in, and I do believe that one's in. So, just kind of pushing down on this end to make sure that it's in good. And then push down with the screwdriver. push that one down. And a lot of times once you push down with the tabs, then it'll lock it in or push a piece in or out, kind of secure it a little bit more. And then we will push this one down. Oops. It's because I'm not pushing on the right piece. Almost came out. There we go. And there's the back part of the leg. So we'll bend that. Bend that. And sometimes you can just kind of squeeze the sides with your fingers. Not hurt nothing, they were going in anyway, so it's going to go down to fit the sides. And the bottom's going to fit that side. There we go. Now the tabs are going to go up here, one there, and two up top. So, sometimes with the angle of the tab, you gotta just kind of bend the tab a little bit. Just to get it to fit into the slot that you're trying to fit it in. Let's see, and it goes in just like that. There we go. So now, flip it upside down, trying to hold the back of it while I flip the tabs just so it doesn't pop out. And there we go. So, not too bad. Got a little back piece on. Get the back part of the foot. Working our way up to the leg. So we're making progress. And as you see, with one or two steps, usually takes about between 15 and 25 minutes. It just depends on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to put together. But again, you definitely don't want to rush. Take your time with it. So, next piece. We are working on this one. Actually, it's a bigger piece for once. Not one of those smaller ones. So, according to the book, it wants us to do a couple things first before we start putting things on it. So it wants us to bend this piece down. I want to make sure it's straight. If you hear the music in the background, Phil Collins. So I apologize if you don't care for the music too much, but I grew up in the 80s, so I've always enjoyed the music in that time, so kind of what helps relax me. I may try to bring up some other music on some future videos, just change have some variety and everything. So closing this down, making sure it's tight all the way. As always, closing the tab with your finger. Making sure it's nice and flat. Using the pliers. And that is good to go. And I think I kind of twisted it a little bit. Maybe. Let's see if we can fix that. Okay. And now it looks like it wants us to bend that down and bend this down. Looks like it wants us to. Yeah, you'll probably be hearing my son in the background. They always talk to Grandma on Sundays. Oh, there's one. There's another. There we go. So. Bend the tabs in. I think it got caught on, let's see. Yeah, sometimes if you get a tab that's a little close to another edge, then you'll won't be able to close it all the way, but as long as you can fold it down as best as you can to seal it, then that's all you're looking for. And there's that piece. And then it looks like, where am I at? Now it looks like it wants us to fold this down to the side. There we go. Okay. As always, just kind of cleaning it with my finger since I got a glove on. It's easy to wipe it down real good, get any dust or debris or cat hair in my case. So I think that's good for now. Okay, and then we're getting this one. So as you can see, it's got little excuse me, little tabs you gotta fold down. So it's usually better if you have thicker pliers to be able to grip. And then for the thicker piece, but then the thinner ones, you can use your smaller ones. It's kind of to make the concave little rounded piece. And then doing the other side. Okay. So now it goes flat piece kind of looking like that. Just kind of bend it back up a little bit. And then on here, you see the three. Well, you see a bunch of holes, but it's gonna go onto the three that's on the line right here. just like that. And as you hold it on the other side, making sure it's straight. There we go. Okay.
I'm pretty sure our cat's like one kind of tree, except
Just checking on something right now.
No. She doesn't like one, but all the other cats do.
I think next we're gonna be looking at this. Okay, let's see here. Straight and a little concave on either side, okay. So, see the jagged lines, so it's going to be kind of an angle, then straight down. It's going to be like that on all sides, so you just kind of have to slowly progress, do each side to get them all to match up. Use the thick pliers on the longer pieces, and then the shorter piece, use the thin, except if it doesn't want to cooperate. Okay. And this piece is just going to be a straight down, so there we go. So you can see it's just a little off, so just kind of bend it down a little bit more to make sure it lines up. Bend that down, make sure that lines up. And then you just move the other pieces down just to get them to line up. Oops. Just like so. And then it looks like it's gonna go on here. Goes there. Make sure all the pieces line up. As always, they never like to line up, but just gotta, work on one or two sides and then just use your small screwdriver to kind of push in the other tabs to get it to line up. So that first piece we put on is actually covered, but it's like a see-through, so if you actually look through the grates, you'd be able to see inside of it, to see that piece. So, attention to detail. Okay. So we'll put that down for now. Okay, so this is... Okay. So we'll use the pliers. Bend that. And then bend that. Bend. Oh. Make sure I'm not hitting nothing. Bend that. Ooh, too far. Reverse. Okay, sometimes pliers are too big to get in there, so you gotta use your fingers. There we go. Okay, and then close this up. Yeah, it looks a little crooked, so if you push at the angle, it'll actually straighten it up. There we go. Still got everything. Just kind of straighten them out. See how it looks. Now, Okay, so it wants this to be bent just a little bit. Okay. Thought I did the wrong side there for a second. Okay. That goes into there. Need to bend this just a little bit. Just like that last one where you had to bend the tab just a little bit to get it to fit. And once you do, then it lines the other tabs just right. Except that now that one's off. Okay, where's it off at? Yep. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So we'll just bend that down just a little bit more. There we go. I don't want to bend that too yet. Okay. As I said before, you gotta be a little delicate. Careful when you're pushing stuff, other parts of the piece and everything. You don't want it to push too hard, and then you're having to try to bend something back. All right. There we go. Okay, so now these are folded in. Just good enough to be able to fold it by hand. So okay, so now it looks like we're turning this around. And we're folding, looks like we're folding this down. I think we're folding this down.
There you are.
That, and then get that 90 degree. So we're supposed to fold this down and bend this down just a little bit so we can actually
On both arms of the big, right?
try to go right there. Push that in, fold it down. So Sometimes it's easy to miss a step or what they're asking you to do until you're looking for something and you're like, that doesn't look right. I don't think I can get that in there nope. So I'll just try to push it down with the screwdriver just to make sure I don't leave a mark or nothing. Yeah, okay. Push this down. Okay, now I think we're good. Straight. Yep, okay. So where are we at? Alright. So these go right here. Sometimes it's easier just to hold it a different way to see what you're doing.
I felt such high strength, it just carries.
Yeah. I know I usually say to fold in, but since folded in, you really are going to be able to see it. With this one, they've actually have silver on the inside, so if you folded it in, you'd be seeing the silver, but on the inside, when you fold it out, it's actually going to be the same color as what you're folding it onto. Which I had mentioned that before. So see, it's purple on the purple. So if you try to fold that on the inside, you would be seeing it a lot more. So sometimes they actually know what they're doing. Sometimes. We shall call it good for now. So we'll go to the next step. Slide the bookender. Okay, this will be the last piece in the step. Oh. Use the right side. So right there, and right there. Okay. So tabs are in there, so definitely ain't gonna be able to get my finger in there at all. With these, you probably could bend the tabs. I don't know if you can see them or not. You might be able to bend the tabs to the inside so you wouldn't see it. But the way the piece is being held on to this, if you bend them to the inside, then if the piece happens to fall or get pushed to the inside, then it's just gonna fall right off. So with these, I almost like to go ahead and bend them over because it's gonna be on an inside that you're never gonna see. So, and plus it'll give it a little bit more structure to be able to hold on, and it won't fall off. As you can see right there, I only did 2 of them, and it's sturdy. It's not going anywhere. Get this third one. Just, you gotta be careful what you're pushing against. It's hard to see. Use the pliers, kind of make sure they're good to go. Okay. Okay, I think we are good. So if I would have bent those to the inside, then if that piece would have, if I would have hit it, it would, and it goes to the left, then this would have fell right out because it's not really secure because the tabs are bent to the inside, not really giving it any type of security. Not really being held too well. But since I bent it to the outside, or to the inside of the piece, going over the edge, it's actually being held really tight, and it's not going to come out unless I really want it to. So once I do that, then I need to straighten this piece, straighten this tab, straighten this tab, fold this down, get that one in there, and get that, come on, there we go, get that in there, and it just pops right out. Okay, so if it does that, that's where you go ahead and try to close the tabs. There we go. There you go. Whatever, maybe a little upper part of the leg. Shin maybe. But all those 4 or 5 flat pieces, you know, we made into this. So it's kind of interesting how all those pieces are, you know, start out as the, you know, just small flat little pieces, and then a few little twists and turns, and then they form one shape or another. And once it all goes together, you'll never even notice. So now we're going to be messing with the little piece right here. Going to be bending it into a nice little shape. So we'll probably just do this for this episode because it looks like there's a lot of bending involved and trying to get some tabs and into some slots and trying to do that without breaking anything. So let us get going. If I can pick it up. Slide it back. All right. So with these silver pieces, you can see, kind of tell that this is the front. And the back, you can see that it's got these lines here, which means that you're going to be curving them this way. They put the lines in there to make it easier for you to curve them, so you don't bend the metal too much. So you know you're going to be curving it that way. And plus this piece right here, since you got the angle, you know it's gonna fit right in against this. So you're going to be bending that a little bit that way. So this piece is going to be going to here and to here. So instead of trying to bend it all at once, it's always good to just start with one side to bend. Kind of bend it down, bend it up, and then kind of do the same for these until get the desired shape that you want. And as always, as I say, is start small bends and then work your way up to the one that you need, just like that. And it's always good to, you can go ahead and bend this little tab in just so it doesn't come back out. I can use some pliers. I tried to use my fingernail, but it wouldn't really go, so I'm just going to use some pliers to kind of bend it down a little bit, just to hold it there, and then I'm going to kind of do this one the same way. Just gonna kind of get into there, kind of get it behind it. Sometimes it's good to just kind of work your way behind it, just slowly go at it, because as we said before, you don't want to overbend it or anything. There we go. And then I'll slide it into there, bend that up. Bend that up. Okay, and then bend that tab there. Now those tabs probably aren't going to be too secure, but it's just kind of meant to just keep the piece in place for now. It's not really going to go anywhere, but it'll hold it for now. Okay, so now we want to kind of bend this piece around. Try to get it in. Get it, there we go, got that one. And the same for here. Get that. Let me just kind of bend that up just a little bit. Get that one locked in like that. And then just kind of lock that one in. Just make sure that's pushed in really good. Push that down. That is in there. And it's starting to take a little shape there. Okay, so now we get to mess with the other side. So now we get to fold this. Let's see here. So you're gonna be putting these tabs into these corners and folding this down. Actually, folding this, because this is kind of like a corner piece, so you're gonna be folding this down, getting these in. Locking these babies down. now, get these onto here. Locking these down. There we go. And just kind of shaping it a little bit, and then kind of angle this a little bit. So this one is gonna, so these are gonna go up into here, so that's what I'm gonna try to bend these up a little bit. I probably should have done that before. Before locking that in. But I can kind of bend that up a little bit like that. There we go, got that one in. And then, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and lock these in. Just so they don't pop out. So since it's got an opening here, I'm gonna kind of use the pliers to kind of cinch them down a little bit. And since you can kind of curve it a little bit, and you can kind of get it to form fit the rest of it. So now, let me angle this one up. And then this is going to angle and then fit up into that one. Curl this one down just a little bit, bend it down a little bit just to get it to fit. You pretty much just want like a little curve shape to fit the pieces that we're going. This one is definitely not wanting to, there we go. Not wanting to fit. And that's what sometimes you gotta kind of mess with it a little bit just to get it to lock in or fit, or sometimes the tab just won't fit in properly, so you just kind of have to mess with it. That was not really in there too good, but it'll do for now. Like I said, you're not really gonna notice too much of a difference, but you can kind of bend it a little bit more to get it in there. There we go. I think that one fit a little bit better once I angled it a little bit more. So, okay, so we're just kind of looking at it, making sure all the edges, the angle pieces are fitting really good with the flat pieces. And you're not really, I mean, with some pieces you're not really going to get rid of all the gaps. You're just trying to do as best as you can to close them up. But a lot of times you're not going to get rid of them all, so, and you're not really going to notice the difference if you can't close up all the gaps. So It looks like press that one down just a little bit. Just kind of going through and just making sure it all looks pretty good. Okay. As always, just kind of wiping it down. Like I said, it's kind of another benefit with wearing gloves. Is just wiping it down if you see some smudges or whatever. Okay, so once I got that, now it wants me to bend this down. This will kind of lock in both sides. That edge, straighten that one just a little bit. There we go. Kind of locks it in. Close the tabs. Lock it down. Just kind of seals both sides just to secure it a little bit better and make it a little bit more solid. There we go. And if you have the opportunity to use the pliers to push the tabs down, I definitely recommend it. It just helps, just in that way you know that they're down as far as they can go. Okay, so not looking too bad. So the last piece is right here. Looks like we're going to be bending it. Okay, so we're closing up the sides here. These three pieces will come together, so you don't want to bend it too much. You're trying to get all the angles to line up. Okay. It looks like it's gonna go right inside of here. Like it's like a little inside piece. That, and there we go. Let me bend this down. And again, they always color the sides of the tab that you bend down to match the piece that you're bending it on. So, you know, unless you really look, you're not going to see the tab too much. It's just going to blend in, and it's just meant to hold the piece in. I mean, you could bend it the other way on the inside, but you'd have to, you know, fold it on the inside so you really don't see it, and you'd probably actually notice it more just because the color is not going to match the piece. Just like in this case, it's a black piece on the inside, and if you tried to fold it in, it would be a silver tab that you'd see on a black piece. So, but it's up to you which way you want to go. But you know, you're really not going to notice it too much, not if there's other parts and pieces that are going to be surrounding this. So, and it looks like that is it. So, not too bad. Took a little bit, but it can be difficult sometimes when you have a lot of angles and a lot of tabs trying to go into sideways slots and corners, trying to bend them to get them into the right shape and everything. So, as you can see, I mean, all the tabs fit and it's locked in pretty good. So, as long as they're completely down, you know, I'm not too worried about it. So, but that's the next piece, of whatever part of this leg is going to be. So I think we will end the episode here. So appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you on the next episode.